welcome back to Nature's Galaxy. I am your host and talkative 101 Libra Nat. Happy birthday, Virgo. Welcome back. So I have two decks in front of me that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the Gothic Tarot, which you will see right here, and I'm also going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot as well. The reason why is because I don't necessarily work with the Gothic Tarot all that much, though it resonates with me. I just technically just don't use it that much. But I was just like, that's definitely going to be a deck that I'm going to use for the Virgo reading. I just feel it. So without further ado, thank you guys again for stopping by and visiting me again. You can find my information down below if you'd like to book a personal reading, all that stuff. Socials, one click away, X, Y, and Z. Let's get into what's going to be coming up for the Virgos. Alright. What's going on for Virgo? What do they need to know? Okay. I'm just kind of staring out the window right now into like the trees and forest, so if you also hear like a whole bunch of bugs, it's because I have the window open. Just need some circulation going on. Like, it's just way too hot and everything just needs to circulate. Just stop being stagnant air. Just, we need some flow. Got the fan on. It's pretty okay morning. All right, Virgo. What's coming up for you guys? Actually, let me pull this closer. I think that's good. It's the little things. Oh, it's the little things. All right. For the first card, we have the Five of Wands. Some of you are actually fighting about money. I know it's a Wands card, and I know it's about, this could also be about feeling or not feeling compensated with all the effort that you put forth. Some of you are going to be going into activism. Some of you are, it's kind of like the general spread that I had for Earth signs. You're just going to start speaking up. You're really fed up with, putting in so much work and, your value. Well, it's not really your value that decreases. You may feel that way, but of course it doesn't really make it feel any better. So now with the Five of Wands, the action is trying to figure out within. When I first started doing tarot, the Five of Wands always reminded me of inner conflict. So how does something make you feel? And obviously right now it's coming up as work and money, and just also for some of you just giving so much to other people. And though again you are earth signs and this is also how you show that you care, your strengths in some ways are being used against you. And for others of you, it's difficult because you also want to break out from the bar that you've set for yourself financially. And it just seems like it's full of turmoil for no reason. Whether you feel like you're looking at your friends differently, your friends looking at you differently. But when it comes down to new clients, they're actually all for it. They think that it's good for you in the times. And it also sets an example for people who are also rising up. So it's good. Okay. So we have the Ten of Swords, but it came out in reverse. So we have the Five of Wands and the Ten of Swords in reverse. Just pure exhaustion. You're just tired of running this hamster wheel when it comes down to just not feeling appreciated either. Some of you are coming out of a long-term partnership. Some of you are going on this road of self-realization, and I think at first you were kind of chasing love, but then you fell in love with thyself and you were just like, it's not so bad, just, being you. And for some of you, just staying single. Now, for others of you, if you are like hoping for a relationship to come about right now, It's organic. It's organic or it's nothing. It's organic or it's nothing. Just saying. Because it's just, why would you bring the strife and confusion, confliction, conflict into something that you want to start something new with? And others of you are going through a separation. I don't see a divorce here. I don't know. It also feels like there's a separation between you and your spouse, but I think both of you or one of you is living the single life, and the other one of you is just, you're getting over some serious pain. 9 of Swords. There's a lot of fear here. A lot of ghouls popping up out of nowhere. Your own inner conflict, your own inner strife. It also looks like you're of just 2 minds at this time. Do I stay? Do I go? What do I do? What do I do? It just means, number one, you need more time. You can't start anything like this. There is no steady foundation to be had here. And for others of you, if you are someone who is accepting, some of you want to be in a new relationship. You're just like, King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Look at the dragon. Look at the dragon. He looks so tough. Look at the dragon. I'm sorry. Or you could also be getting away from an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius who's really done some harm to you. We have the 10 and 9 of Swords. Doesn't matter if they're in the upright, the reverse, and we also started out with the 5 of Wands. It doesn't really matter their gender, their sex either. Sex being biological, gender being the expression of who you are, not necessarily your sexual preference, so on and so forth, right? So when it comes down to, and for some of you, this could be an alter ego that was created from your heartache. And because you were in 2 minds, hold on. My laptop is trying to commit suicide. It's just like, battery low, charge me now, or I will die. This awful forever death. Okay. Alright. There you go. Don't die. Just charge up. Not like a hair. Okay. So again, you are getting away from this very dominant energy, and this someone who's really aggressive with you, being very crossing boundaries like consistently with you. And I think for a while they were very covert about it, but I think you're just going to be waking up to what was really happening if it hasn't hit you already, with how much you were taken from you, how much credibility could have been and should have been given to you, but because for some reason or another, mainly surrounded by love, because you loved somebody so much, and they're and it's funny because it's the King of Wands, but like the term that comes to mind is theocracy. Words. The shadow phase for Mercury hasn't even started. Oh, God. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. Just mediocre behavior. Just mediocre. I don't know. My words, my tongue is just gonna start slipping and sliding. And I'm an air sign. I know. Bring it back. Got the stone right here. We got an onyx. Who else has an onyx? All right. Put that right there. So, I feel like this person is still watching you in some way. But I also just feel like you've taken your power back. They still feel like you're in this low position, when the thing about time is that when it comes down to time, it waits for no one. And they're still stuck with that old version of you that no longer exists. And even if they are watching you, it's not like they know all your successes, they know all of your failures, and that's basically them losing out. You know, it's the things that we leave behind, like arguments, the petty fighting, the good moments, the bad moments, that are still worth the experience. And you've taken all of what you've known from that experience, and this person, you know, is now showcasing themselves to you and to people around them, where their vampiric nature is just, you know, on the table. And for some of you, if there's still this energetic cord and you don't necessarily know how to sever it, I think you should leave it alone right now. But I think more than anything, you should channel this energy into something else. And if you are bombarded by work, these obligations, these demands of you, especially, of course, you're an earth sign when it comes down to your work, it's very difficult for you to try to move fast, learn all of the things that you want to learn, one, about your self-discovery, because you're weighed down by everybody else's feelies. So detachment's going to work well for you, but it's still going to be difficult. We have the Two of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and we also have the Seven of Wands. So there's that Two of Minds right there. So this Mercury retrograde, and it's happening in your sign, Virgo, it's actually going to pull you through the ringer a little bit. It may bring back the past, or the past is looking for you and you're nowhere to be found, thank goodness. Can't remember the number, can't remember the address, they were never there, whomst are they? I'm sorry, who? Your ex is looking for you, who? Oops. Do you remember their middle name? Oops. But not oops, because again, it's your past. They're looking for you, homie, not the other way around. But this Two of Wands, so we go from absolute torment, and if you're feeling that revving right now of just this, that, and the other, it's going to come down. Give yourself that week, give yourself that 2 days. Some of you also just have to do that Taurus thing and do absolutely nothing sometimes. Just not bothering, not caring, just putting a lot of this stuff away. And if you are around friends, you're around your loved ones, I don't think you should separate yourself from them. Yes, you're going through something. Yes, they're going through something. Everyone is in a transformative time in their life. It's for the history books. It's for the history books. But nonetheless, it's a lot. So the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords for me is like the therapist. It's someone who opens their heart, opens their space to understanding others. Now, they come off harsh. You can be this way too, Virgo. You make space for others. You are understanding. But when it comes down to any air signs in your life, they're going through it too. That's a lot of swords. It's a lot of swords. But it also feels like this Queen of Swords has elevated themselves, because you see the wings here and you see the rose on her heart, you know, placed there. But more than anything, it just feels like part of you is actually going to grieve and mourn what is no longer a part of your life. You're going to get rid of some part of your clinging towards the scorn that you've had to deal with. It wasn't yours, but you know, you still had to deal with it. And it's still your responsibility to heal, even though not everyone really likes to hear that type of information. No one really likes to hear that type of advice. But this is definitely what's going on. And the Queen of Swords, it's also a pediatrician for me as well. You know, someone who works with small children. It also feels like, you know, with the Queen of Swords here, you know, you are using your future vision for certain things, but you can't get caught up in it. And some of you have. There's a lot of swords. There's a lot of mental energy going on here. There's a lot of insomnia that could also be transpiring or has transpired. So it's time for you to also find some new time and space where you can actually be productive. And if you've been productive, well, It is about seeing the small victories, and it is about taking those moments for yourself when you feel the need to just, be up here so you can actually put those serotonin steps into place. We have the Seven of Wands. There's this new understanding that you have when it comes down to your environment and what you're willing to fight for. Again, I know it's wands, but it's just, there's something about money here where you also feel stolen from in some capacity. And I'm going to put the stone over here. Okay. Shifting over to the Modern Witches Tarot. Come on. I think some of you also have the wrong idea when it comes down to getting advice from certain people. And it's not to say that all of their advice is wrong. It's just, it may not work for you. You're a completely different person. And, King of Wands to the Queen of Swords. Two completely different people. And that's okay. But how you treat someone, how you go about it is... Or, how you mend it. You're a Virgo, you most likely have a Libra placement somewhere. Or, if you have a Virgo placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, X, Y, and Z. We have a lot of people involved in your shit, Virgo. We have the Knight of Swords here because it's just all people. There's not really these big major things going on for you. You just keep getting roped into other people's bullshit. And Virgo's just like, that's my life. What do you mean? The Knight of Swords talks about you are also going to be very diligent when it comes down to paying off bills, debt, meeting your obligations financially. There is a slowdown in money. Fighting yourself will not help. Four of Wands. Some of you are manifesting a new place of living. It is going to come into being, but it's a Wands card, so you gotta work for it. Which is no stranger to the Virgo. Virgo's just like, I pick up everyone else's work. So, and then there are other Virgos who have Libra placements who kind of go here, there, and everywhere, but you gotta stay here, Virgo. You gotta finish your job. Put a little bit more effort into it. And then that type of Virgo is just like, but you don't understand. I have a Libra placement. It's very hard. So, because Libra placement's literally doing everything else. Because they're also the shifter when it comes down to thought. Because, yeah, Geminis do that, yeah. What is it? Aquarians do it. But Libra is cardinal. That's the difference. So, if you, again, have Libra in your chart somewhere, you're just like, no, I get exactly what you mean. And for other people who don't understand, it's fine. We're moving forward. The Four of Wands. Some of you who also have roommates are going to be thinking about a different place of residence, or you guys are, putting into place what you want for next year. What does that look like? There's just a lot of talks going on about the practical things. Nine of Pentacles. You feel very content, but at the same time, it also feels like, where are your big wins? Because this is nice, but it's kind of like you're getting what you need, but you're not really getting what you want and desire. So that also may be a conflict as well. That's why the King of Wands is also showing up. We have the Queen of Wands. What did I say? There is so many people in your shit. Pisces is coming through, and then Cancer, and then Scorpio, in that order. But I don't know, I just feel like this person's really codependent on you and your resources. That's for some of you. Now, others of you, if this is like your waifu, this is, you know, the person you're in a relationship with. Or for others of you, this is somebody that you're getting into a relationship with. Those waves are rocky. They slam against the things that literally are on the shore. Doesn't matter what it is. The sand's like, I'm used to it. Here I come, here I go, here I come, here I go. But we're not sand particles, right? We're people. And when it comes down to this person's emotions, I mean, it's either you survive their tides or you don't. But you're also a Virgo, so when it comes down to these emotions, you're just like, I can eat them for breakfast because they don't exist. Virgo, you're just the fall of a lot of... You're the fall of the moon. You're the fall of Venus. And for the Virgos that don't understand what I just said, other than, you know, reading through your own interpretation, astrologically, when it comes down to the moon, the thing that sits in the sky because of gravity, that thing's emotional. That thing controls the tides, right? And when it falls or it transitions into Virgo, I mean, you guys kind of just end at moody. Emotional, there's nothing in this rock. That's just how it goes. And it's the same thing with Venus, where, you know, you like your sense of opulence. You like your sense of being moderate or bohemian in some way. You like the look. But if you're not deep down into your sensual nature, it's just a big old thud. Sorry to throw the shade, but I think you guys are used to the shade anyway, so... So again, for the water signs, they're just like, why can't you just move? Virgo's just like, all I heard was you trying to rush me. You think you're terrible at being impatient. You haven't seen anything yet. Whatever, Virgo. We have the Two of Wands and the Four of Swords. You're gonna need rest. Some of you have some short trips coming up. Some of you are going to be invited to step out of your comfort zone. And some of you are going to party. Some of you are going to gatherings. Some of you are celebrating your own birthday coming up. And it's gonna be great. But at the same time, you just feel like, ugh, man, I feel sick. I feel worn down. I just feel tired. I want everyone to leave me alone, but I also want the attention. This is confusing. The cards say rest. Schedule out time to not only rest, but schedule out time to take these trips. Even if they're a little bit further out, you know, come December. You should be planning for these. This is a really exciting time for you. Now, when it comes down to work and hours being cut back, something along those lines, you are going to, again, you're going to get your needs met. But when it comes down to your wants and desires, you gotta rest on that mentally and physically. But there's a lot of people in your business, Virgo, or you're in a lot of people's business. Either way. I also feel like some of you are just, you know, opening yourself up again when it comes down to business, relationships. We have the Ace of Pentacles and we also have the Eight of Cups. We just had the full moon in Aquarius a few days ago. So what this reads is these new beginnings are here and you have to and must walk away from what is no longer serving you. There's some things that you're still attached to. And in order for this Ace of Pentacles to really fall into your life, you have to be emotionally honest. You have to be just honest in general with things that, one, need more time, or two, it's just a no. And then the Ace of Pentacles comes in because there are some false new beginnings, but it's time for you to put away being optimistic about certain things, or an opportunist, I should say. But it kind of runs into the same frequency because, you know, still got to be level-headed, which you are. Oh. 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 Everything leads into the other thing, and everything that leaded into led to the Ace of Wands and the Emperor. Okay. Okay. Let me cross my legs. Is there a Leo present? No, just an Emperor. Some of you are stepping up. You are stepping into this daddy energy. Some of you... I couldn't help myself. Of course. Of course. Some of you are stepping your game up when it comes down to your business, making money, manifesting. Rigid to some degree, controlling to another degree. But it's with your own shit. This is what that looks like. You got 2 new beginnings, financially, and when it comes down to your wants and desires. But first, you gotta figure out all of this other shit. And then, you get here. This Emperor card. You want to jump the gun when it comes down to this ride or die behavior. But one, it has to be timed, and two, both parties need to be in agreement, or all parties need to be in agreement. Also, watch out for pregnancy, because this is the sexual card right here. What's it called? The phallus? Whatever. What, the window's open and it's still hot. The fan's going, but it's still hot in here. So, with the Emperor card, some of you are changing degrees. Some of you are changing careers. Some of you are looking at your reputation and finally looking back and sitting at the top of the heap, and you're like, I did that shit. I did that. I did that. And for others of you, I'm coming for you. Love has not finished headhunting you, but the universe says, with Mars in your sign, you know, I've inspected the whole place when it comes down to this, that, and the other. And they're still willing to do X, Y, and Z when it comes down to being a good person, being a good partner. Their intentions are solid. The universe is going to throw a few more people at you to see and feel. What do you really want, Virgo? What do you really want? And then the Emperor steps up in you. The divine masculine takes a seat for once. And what that is this old behavior. 7 of Swords. Some of you had some really toxic behavior in the past. And they want Virgo. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. They're like, go back, go back, go back, go back. What was that? What was that? Okay, I'll pull these cards. The Fool, the 8 of Swords, and the Tower. I can feel the panic in my chest. Like, oh. It is shocking. But if you've been doing the work, it just looks like you jump over this whole thing. When it comes down to your living situation, when it comes down to your inner work, when it comes down to putting yourself out there, this 8 of Swords is a trap. It's the stagnation of thinking that you have finished all of your tests. That's never the case in the lesson of life. That's never the case. We have the Seven of Swords, and we also have the Wheel of Fortune. People have been taking from you, but, you know, you've been giving them the slip because you want so much more. You don't want your cup to be empty. You don't want to just keep looking into something that doesn't or won't actually bear fruit in the future. You're looking at the harvest this year and you're just like, these crops have been damaged. And I really see that now. Now, of course, last time we knew they were going to be okay, but something's going on with the crops now and we need change. Collectively and with you guys. The zodiac wheel is basically the domino effect. What happens with Aries goes throughout the signs and ends. Starts over again with Aries, but ends at Pisces. And for you guys, we do have Neptune retrograde in your 7th house. But I think that's really good for you because when it comes down to work in some cases, it's not that you've tried to neglect this Ace of Cups, but again, when you're working so much, you just tend to look over certain things that then manifest into the Seven of Swords, where you're just like, well, I'm not necessarily getting this, so why don't I do this? And that creates the Seven of Swords. But you want the big love. You don't want to be trapped in this anymore. You don't want to steal from yourself. You're tired of people stealing from you. If anything else, you want to feel secure, where you don't even really have to worry about the Seven of Swords at all. And for the past few years, it just feels like people have been knocking down your walls. And then out of nowhere, this could have happened years ago, this thought or people or a person walked in, or a business idea walked in and said, hey, come this way. And it just felt right. And recently, you've been second guessing your power. But all you're really doing, regardless, is still going towards your power. You have to keep going. There's no other way the universe works. You have to keep going. You already know this, but this is what's coming up. Some of you need to rest for your money to start flowing in. You need to just chill out when it comes down to going after your thing. That's the only way you're going to be able to get to this emperor status. You need to relax because you've been working hard, working to the bone. But again, we have 3 new beginnings here. We start off with the pentacle, we move towards the wand, and then we get to the 5, not the 5. Interesting, because I was mentioning how this was tipped over. And the Ace of Cups. Yeah, again, there are some false starts here, but I think it just comes with the saying of if you start something very fast, then there's going to be challenges later on down the line. And I know that's more of like a Christian type of like way to think about it. And compared to if you take the longer route, then it just, you know, it hardens. That is its own like steady, firm foundation, the ground that it sits on comfortably. But they're sitting on a cloud. You see that thing falling anytime soon? That thing is solid. We don't know how it works either, but they're doing it. Some of you, again, Virgo, are breaking out of your own walls. And you're like, there's some really nice expansion in here. I can do a lot with this. You've been working with your imagination. You've been working through it. You've been finding some interesting things. And things that just keep popping into your head. And you're just like, I shouldn't be thinking of this. Let me just keep walking away and just doing my thing. It all still leads back to the same. Not the mundane, the same. of what you want. You get so much in the end. And the bottom of the deck with the other one is the Ace of Pentacles. The skull, it's been waiting for you for so long. I'm decrepit now. Yep, it's getting hot. I gotta go, Virgo. It's getting real hot in here. I got also over like half an hour of footage now, and I think you guys are good. Are you guys good? I don't know. I'll be back for your love reading later. Hope you guys enjoy your day, whether it's the morning, the noon, the evening, or the night. I hope you have a good one and all that jazz. Thank you again for trusting me with your cards. And, yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Okay, all right, Virgo, goodbye, peace.